You are so tired of this. You are tired of the medication that used to work and doesn't anymore. You are tired of hearing Botox mentioned like it's the answer when the thought of it makes your skin crawl. You are tired of cutting out gluten, then dairy, then sugar, then whatever the next elimination diet tells you to cut, and still ending up pushing through or in bed. You are tired of calling out of work again, or worse, showing up and pretending you're fine when your head is pounding. Tired of feeling crappy so often that you've forgotten what it feels like just to feel like yourself. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, something in you has started thinking, I am so done. I want my life back. I want to be able to make plans and actually keep them. I want to stop apologizing for canceling. I want to stop being someone who manages migraines and go back to being someone who just lives. If that's you, I'm glad you're here because I'm about to explain the actual reason none of this has worked. Not the drink more water version, not the reduce your stress version, the real one. And I promise you, you're going to hear some things in the next few minutes that you have never heard connected together before. Before I get into it, I want to name a few things that you probably have been told because I think they're lies. And I think they're a huge part of why you're still stuck. You have been told that you already have tried everything. So what else could possibly work? You've been told you don't have time for one more thing. You can barely keep up with what's already on your plate. And you've been told if the doctors couldn't fix it, nobody can. I want to be honest with you. Those beliefs, they actually make me angry because they're not true. And they exist for one reason. They keep you locked into chasing symptoms instead of ever getting close to the actual problem. Every one of those beliefs was handed to you by a system that treats the head pounding and never once asks what's underneath it. So here's how I want you to picture what's actually been happening. Think about everyone that it takes to get a plane in the air, right? You've got flight attendants keeping people calm and comfortable in the moment. You've got ground crew doing, work on the outside of the plane and putting the baggage in, refueling, checking the exterior, making sure things run a little smoother. But if nobody's actually flying the plane, none of that gets you to your destination. You just stay on the tarmac. You may be comfortable. Trust me, it's really not that comfortable though. I've done it for 6 hours sitting on the tarmac, you know, but maybe, in this analogy, you feel a little bit better, right? But you're not going anywhere. And you know that feeling. You felt it every single time something helped for 2 weeks and then it's quietly stopped. Medication is often like your flight attendant. It can make the next hour a little more bearable. It can make the next day more bearable. But sometimes it can't even do that anymore. Now, your chiropractor, your supplement, your massage therapist, that's kind of like your ground crew. Good people doing real work. But if no one has ever looked at the whole flight plan, you were never going to land where you actually wanted to go. You were never flying anywhere. You were just sitting on the runway, burning fuel, wondering why you weren't moving. So, what's the flight plan? Was actually driving this? It's something that I call the inflammation overload loop. Now, your migraines, they are not random. They are not your body being difficult for no reason. And they are not something that you brought on yourself by not managing your stress well enough. They are the downstream result of chronic systemic inflammation. And that inflammation runs in a loop, one that keeps lowering your threshold until almost anything, a smell, a skipped meal, a bad night of sleep, a stressful phone call, anything can tip you into an attack. That inflammation, it's not sitting in one place. It's not waiting for you to find it. It's running through your hypothalamus, your amygdala, your vagus nerve, your trigeminal nerve, all of it talking to each other, all of it staying dysregulated because nobody has ever calmed the whole network at once. You have probably heard some of those words before. You're the best researcher out there, right? You've been researching migraines forever. You've probably heard hypothalamus nervous system, maybe even amygdala. Maybe you've heard them tossed around, in an article or by a practitioner who mentioned them once in passing and moved on. But hearing the word is not the same as understanding what it's actually doing to you every single day, what it's doing in the background without your permission. That's also why your symptoms don't always look the same. It's why you can have a week where it's mostly head pounding and a different week where it's gut issues or joint pain or that heavy, foggy feeling that makes you feel like you're moving through wet cement. Different symptoms, same underlining fire. And that's exactly why treating one piece of it, your gut alone or your hormones alone or your stress alone, was never going to be enough by itself. You weren't doing it wrong. Nobody ever handed you the whole flight plan. You were only ever given one crew member's checklist at a time and told, hey, if that didn't work, the problem must be you. It was never you. Here's what I watch happen to almost every woman before she finds this. At some point, without really deciding to, you stop asking, what's going to fix this? And you start asking, how do I manage this? You reorganize your whole life around it. You stop making plans that you can't guarantee. You start keeping this mental list of what you can and can't do this week, depending on how your head feels. You get quietly good at hiding it, at pushing through, at pretending you're fine, so nobody has to change their plans around you. That shift is so gradual, most women don't even notice it happen. And it's not because you gave up. It's because you were never shown that there was another option beside managing it better and better forever. There is another option. It's just never been explained to you clearly because no single specialist is trained to look at the whole system. Your neurologist looks at your neurology. Your gastroenterologist looks at your gut. Nobody's job is to look at all of it together, which means unless you go looking for it yourself, nobody ever will. If this is the first time that you've heard the word inflammation overload loop, I want you to actually really just sit with that for a second because it's the piece that nobody has explained to you clearly. Not your neurologist, not the last three things that you tried, not the person who told you that Botox was your next step. In my next episode, I walk you through the 3 layers I actually look at with every single person that I support. The exact places I look when a woman tells me that she has tried everything and nothing has worked. Because once you see them laid out side by side, a lot of what hasn't worked for you is going to make a lot more sense. Before you go, if any of this is resonating with you, if you're nodding your head yes, I put together a free guide on the everyday toxins that quietly feed this whole loop, the ones that nobody's warning you about. You're going to find the link in the show notes. Go ahead and grab it. It's a great first place to start while you wait for the next episode.